Friends. As we know that the UPSC ethics paper isn't just about definitions and theories. It's about understanding the real life moral challenges which are faced by the public servants. Recently in Haryana, we witnessed two heartbreaking incidents wherein two police officers, which were both in service, both ended their lives within a few days of each other. So we will not discuss what was right, what was wrong. Instead, we will ask deeper questions. Uh, Questions such as what ethical lessons do these incidents hold for future civil servants? How does moral stress or stress in general build is being built inside the institutions, and what does this teaches us about the human side of governance? This is not a story of blame. It is a case study which reflects deeply about conscience, about pressures, and deeply about the ethics of responsibilities. Moving further, so according to media reports, an IPS officer and an assistant sub inspector of police in Haryana uh, unfortunately died by suicide within a few days of each other. While the causes are still being examined, these events have sparked reflection across the country. How could two officers, both part of a disciplined force, how could they reach such emotional despair? So this is the question which is being asked. For ethics students, this is not about individual failure. It is a it's a win, it's about the institutional stress. It is about the ethical dilemmas and the emotional burden of public service. Now let us study the ethical dimensions that emerges from this case. The first one is public servants. The first issue is about duty vis-a-vis the emotional burden. So the public servants are trained to uphold rules and deliver results and stay composed under pressure. But behind every uniform is a human being who has emotions, expectations, and limits as well. So when duty and emotional strain collide, so moral stress arises, and if this stress is ignored, it can run into despair. So the professional duty and emotional well-being, it has to be balanced. The next point is about the organizational cultural culture and ethical climate. So many institutions, they focus on efficiency and hierarchy much more than the empathy and dialogue. But an ethical organization is the one where officers feel safe to express concern, wherein they can seek support from their colleagues, seniors, uh, and seek their mentorship and guidance, and wherein they are being heard without any fear. So this organizational climate should be such that wherein there is a premium on the ethics as well. The next point is about integrity and moral conflict. Sometimes officers face impossible choices, such as truth versus loyalty, honesty versus safety, idealism versus reality. So ethics paper calls this a moral dilemma. Recognizing these dilemmas early and handling them with wisdom and support is crucial to the integrity of the officer, integrity of the organization as well. The fourth ethical aspect in this case is about the leadership ethics. So leaders are not just supervisors, they are moral anchors also. Ethical leadership means balancing authority with empathy, setting standards not by fear but by fairness. So these are the different ethical aspects of the situation which we saw in this tragic incidents. Now how can we relate this to the uh, you know uh, how can we relate this with our ethics paper? So sorry, so I have just corrected the screen. Now it is perfectly visible. So now how this incidents it relates to the UPSC ethics paper. So we have different topics in our UPSC ethics exam, such as public service values, emotional intelligence, integrity and courage of conviction, probity in governance, attitude and behavior, accountability and ethics in governance. So all these ethics topics are somewhere touched upon uh, in this case. So when it comes to public service values, so it highlights, this case highlights the need for compassion, empathy and integrity in governance. Talking about emotional intelligence, this case highlights the importance of managing stress and emotional awareness in decision making. Similarly, this case highlights that one should be one should stay true to the values, their core values under extreme pressure. This case also highlights how fair systems build trust and morale, and how unfair system they destroy trust and morale of the officers. And about attitude and behavior, so this case highlights why humane treatment and respect are essential within organizations. So the officers, wherever they are in the hierarchy, they should be treated with respect, and they should be given humane treatment. This case also highlights the need for ethical oversight and internal support mechanisms, which should be available within the government organization. So these topics are not abstract theory, they come alive as we see that these ethical topics, they come alive in real life stories like this one, wherein institutional culture, personal values and emotional balance, they all these things intersect and interconnect with each other. Now moving further, so now let us focus on the ethical analysis. How to make sense of this complex dilemma which was seen in this incidents. When such tragedies happen inside the system, they remind us that ethics is not only about rules. It is also much more than the rules. It is about courage, it is about emotional safety, so on and so forth. So let us analyze this case through the three ethical frameworks which are being taught to us in the UPSC ethics exam. The first is the deontological view, or the duty based ethics view. So in this framework, ethics means doing your duty faithfully, regardless of the outcome. So you have to do your duty faithfully. A police officer's foremost duty is to uphold law and order, to uphold truth and fairness. But duty is not performed in vacuum. So imagine an officer who knows the right thing to do, but feels emotionally cornered by the system, and he is afraid of humiliation, he is afraid of loneliness or loss of career. So here moral courage becomes as important as legal duty. So a true ethical institution must make it possible for its member to act according to their conscience, by ensuring safety, by ensuring trust and respect. Because duty without dignity, it becomes unsustainable. So so only duty based ethics, or duty based deontological view is not suffice. So duty is not performed in a vacuum. So moral courage becomes as important as legal duty. The second framework, let us analyze the situation from the second framework which is being taught to us in ethics exam, which is consequence based ethics, or the utilitarian view. So this approach asks that what action leads to the best outcome for the greatest number of people. So if we see from this framework, if stress, fear or silence dominate an organization, the it will lead to the morale will drop, the efficiency will suffer, and the public trust eventually will collapse. So from a utilitarian lens, preventing emotional distress among officers is, not just kindness, it is good governance. So a supportive environment wherein there is fair grievance redressal, where there is mental health care, it leads to better outcomes for officers, for institutions, as well as for the larger society. This ethics is not only about preventing corruption, it is also about preventing the suffering. Now, the third framework which is being taught to us in ethics is the virtue ethics, or the character based view. So, virtue ethics focus on who we become, not just what we do. So, it focuses on who we become, not just what we do. It's about developing character traits such as honesty, empathy, humility, courage, so on and so forth. So when young officers they join service, they learn procedures and protocols, but rarely how to face loneliness, how to face betrayal or emotional burnout. That is really being taught to them. How to face these things. That's where virtue ethics matters the most. Institutions therefore must cultivate moral resilience through mentorship, through ethical leadership, and open conversations. So when people of character lead, when such officers lead, so ethics become contagious. By seeing them, other officers also start emulating them, the juniors also start following them. So this becomes ethics by leadership, ethics by character building, because rules can guide you, but only character can sustain you. So rules can only just guide you, that you should follow these rules, but if you want to sustain on your own, then the character must be built in the officer. So these three lenses, duty lens, consequence lens, and the virtue based ethics lens, these remind us that ethics which we study in our theory isn't just abstract. It is the art of balancing law with compassion, performance with empathy, and power with humility. Moving further in this regard, now let us draw some practical lessons for which are useful for every civil servant and aspirants. The first one is that the ethical strength comes from emotional stability. So integrity alone is not enough. Emotional resilience is equally vital. So one should develop habits of reflection, habits of mindfulness, and dialogue to stay balanced. The second important lesson is that empathy is a leadership. Empathy is a leadership skill. A true leader listens, not just to just to listen for the sake of listening, but to feel the people pain. Empathy builds trust, and trust builds performance. The third thing is about that institutional ethics matter as much as the individual ethics. No officer can remain ethical in a toxic environment. We need transparent systems, the mentoring culture, and the ethical support groups. The next important lesson is we need to normalize the mental health discussions. Asking for help is not weakness, it is wisdom. Ethical governance means protecting not just data and files, but also the mind and morale of the officers. And similarly, we should create safe spaces for truth. There should be protection for the whistleblowers. There should be proper grievance redressal mechanisms, and non-punitive feedback systems are required, so that the truth can be spoken freely. So when truth feels safe, the institutions, they themselves thrive. So this is all about this case. I hope you like the analysis. So this is all from my side. Thank you.